Samuel, what is the way that you have seen in your experience in Israel with the Jewish people? What is the best way to overcome this division and this mistrust, even the fear on both sides?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's been something that that history has wanted to see for a long time, I would say. I believe that there has been a recognition of commonality, right? Of a, and like I said, we have a shared book, but at the same time, it would seem like that shared book has led us on different paths, and so it's coming back to the book, and actually having discussion. So we're talking about scripture and sitting across from the Jewish people and saying, well, what does this mean? What does it mean to you? This is what it means to me. This is how I've interpreted it, or this is an interpretation that we've taken through history, and then hearing their side, and just having that discussion, having that time together, has been very healing, very I would say, it's opened up my eyes, right, to the depths of scripture, and to the Tanakh, right, to the writings. And then I would say not only that, but we like to, Christianity for a long time has pointed, like you were saying, they pointed to the Apostle Paul, Rav Shul, right, his writings in Romans. And in Romans chapter 11, Paul is writing about basically the Jewish people, and that God has in some ways cut them off from the olive tree for our sake, right, for Christianity's sake. And he says that in some ways the Jewish people have been blind in part, right? But at the same time, right, so the Jewish people, I think, would readily accept the idea that they're blind in some areas, right, that they're blind in part. But I think it's very arrogant for us to try and say you're blind, because I think we have to recognize that all of us are blind in areas, right? And so when we're approaching a relationship, the way that you don't approach a relationship is by immediately pointing out the errors that somebody else has and saying, in order for us to have a relationship, you have to fix this, this, and this, and then maybe we can walk together. That's what I would say history has shown over and over and over again. And that's basically how Christianity has approached the Jewish people for a long time, right? And just, we're talking about the Crusades, especially right now. The Crusades was especially a time where the Christians basically said, you convert and we can walk together, or you die. So there's one of two choices. And so when we look at history, that's been a problem, and that needs to change. And the way that we change that is by humbly coming and saying, and especially, right, as you were saying, right, as the apostle, as Rav Shul did point out, the apostle Paul did point out, he said that what for the Jewish people, what they have so much going for them. What do they have? They have the oracles of God. Well, if they have the oracles of God, and Rav Shul, the apostle Paul, is writing about this, then kind of it's up to us to accept that they have that, to accept that that's their place and that's their role, and then to recognize that we have a place in that as well. And what is that? It's to come and learn and say, hey, teach us what this means. What does scripture mean? What can we learn from it? And humility, being willing to learn, recognizing the past, and then saying, look, we reject the past, and we want to create a better future, and we want to do that in humility and in a way that we can walk together. I think is the beginning of the journey that God has all of us on. And it's a beautiful journey. I really am grateful that God has put us in this time.